All right, let's jump to the Patriots now and talk about N'Keal Harry. You had a conversation with him today. You asked him, when you were watching NFL games and you're seeing other guys from your draft class, and you and I have talked about this on the podcast, especially the DK Metcalf stuff, right? The Seahawks game,
Yep,
everybody
AJ
and their
Brown the other
mother.
night. Yep.
Yeah, yep. Everybody and their mother is tweeting about DK Metcalf, and he catches that touchdown, and oh, Harry can't do that. So you asked him about how he feels watching games and seeing other guys from his draft class, and does he ever wonder why it hasn't happened quicker for him? What did he say?
Well, he actually gave a good response, and the reason, and I know I had one guy on Twitter being like, when Belichick said there are dumb answers or dumb questions, like this was one of them. Like, no, I thought my question was legit and fair, and I think pretty soon here a lot of us are going to be writing about N'Keal Harry because right now he is I think it's 11 games that he's played into his career, and his answer was good. He said that he can't really compare his situation to anybody else's. He says he's never been the type to just sit there and say, why hasn't this happened for me? I know I'm in a different situation. I'm just gonna go out there every day and work on ways to improve and stay patient and trust God's timing. That's my philosophy. So, and I also like the way, you ask the question, even if it's over Zoom right now, you want to look into a guy's eyes and see how he responds to the question, because he could have not liked it and just, given some sort of crappy
rolled his
answer.
eyes, or some of the body language as if, oh, here we go.
Yeah, but in his answer, I took it as genuine, that he realizes, like, you can't compare every situation. And he's right overall that, like, you can't look at, DK Metcalf is playing with, Russell Wilson, and there are a bunch of people around him, and that offense suits DK Metcalf and the quarterback better than maybe N'Keal Harry. And he had to go through Tom Brady last year, who hates rookies, and Russell Wilson will just throw to anybody off the street. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And so the situations are different. The situations for, AJ Brown in Tennessee, who had a nice game the other night, and you could see that they are trusted in certain situations. We've seen Cam, that Seattle game, you made reference to it a few times in the past about that, big third down throw as they were going down there to the 1 yard line. That was a big trust moment and a big moment for him. And I do think we've seen a little bit of improvement here, but there's no question. Like, you can't look at, when you look at his draft class, and I went to Pro Football Reference and downloaded the stats for that wide receiver group, and they have a stat there called career AV, which is approximate value, and they have some sort of formula that figures it out. I mean, out of that group, AJ Brown's number one, Debo, DK Metcalf, Hollywood Brown, Terry McLaurin. Like, those guys are the, cream of the crop from that. So N'Keal Harry was the second receiver taken out of that draft, and out of, career AV, he's 14th in that group. I mean, there are guys I haven't even heard of. You probably have, because you're more of a nutcase about this stuff than I am. But, who the hell is Olabisi Johnson on the Vikings? Kelvin Harmon on the Redskins?
I would not put those guys ahead of N'Keal Harry. But
no,
I'm not Pro Football Focus, but
yeah, and so some of those is just I mean, they even had like Andy Isabella over him, who I like Andy Isabella, but he has less catches, and he does have 3 touchdowns, and so does N'Keal Harry. But just in general, look, he hasn't performed as well as the other guys in his draft class, and I just, there has to be a reason for that. I do think that he's getting better, and it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. So if he struggled up to this point, great, but what matters now is, what does he do going forward? Because this team is going to need him.
Yeah, I would have loved to see, and listen, it's unanswerable, right? We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to see if he stayed healthy last year.
Yeah.
And he didn't miss those, what was it, first 8 or 9 games?
Yeah, 8 games.
I mean, that's huge, right? I mean, that's absolutely huge. And then you jump into the middle of the year, and like you said, Brady doesn't trust the young guys. He doesn't throw to them very often. Oh, I don't want to excuse his rookie year and say it doesn't count. That would be borderline disingenuous. But I do think when you look at his situation, like Terry McLaurin, he goes to the WFTs, and right away, they're throwing the football to him constantly because they have nobody else.
Who was even their quarterback last year?
Oh, it was wait, who was it before? It wasn't Colt McCoy, was it?
It might have been.
No. They brought somebody in. The kid that played at Denver. What was his name?
I don't know.
He started in Minnesota.
Not Paxton Lynch.
No, he went from Minnesota and then to Denver. Remember, he had that playoff year with Minnesota. He played fantastic. Well, his name escapes me. He was in Minnesota. I think it was the Minneapolis Miracle. He was doing the Skull, and then he ended up leaving there, and he went to Denver because Minnesota signed Kirk Cousins.
Wait, I got it. Hang on. Keenum.
Thank you, Case Keenum. Thank God. So it was Keenum, and then it was McCoy / Haskins, but they were throwing the ball to him constantly. So
yep.
I do wish, like, you can't go back in time, but I would love to see N'Keal Harry if he had those, that first half of his rookie year under his belt. He might have got off the ground quicker this year, right out of the blocks, game number 1. So we'll see. I think it's progression with him. If it's baby steps, I don't care. As long as he's improving, that's the most important thing. You did ask him about his frustration. Did you like his answer with that?
Yeah, I mean, it was about what that answer. I said, are you frustrated, or you just are where you are with your development? And he said, no, my mindset is doing whatever coach needs me to do. At the end of the day, I'm not too worried about personal stats and stuff like that. I mean, it was fine. That's what I thought I would get, and I knew the answer that I would get, but I was just, I just wanted to see his reaction, because, us as reporters, like, we have to ask the question. Like, we could think we're going to get a certain answer, but you don't know. I mean, the reason I asked the first question is because I wanted to know. I wanted to see his reaction. And who knows? He could have said, you know what? Yeah, I did. I watched A.J. Brown the other night. He made a lot of tough catches in big spots, and I haven't really done that yet. And I went to my coach and we talked about it, and I just got to work doubly as hard, that sort of thing. You just never know what you're going to get. But I thought overall, his attitude dealing with the question and his answers overall were good, and show me that he's in a good place. Like, there are a lot of guys, a lot of rookies that I've covered in this league who 11, 12 games into their rookie year as a receiver, as a first round pick, that they haven't had that much production, they'd be second guessing themselves all the time. Yeah. And it shows me that he's in a good place, and also shows it probably doesn't hurt that Cam's back in the mix now, because I do know that Cam has been a big champion of his behind the scenes. And to me, that's a very good indicator for he could have a lot more upside down the road.